I'm Linda Deir. Welcome to Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, a weekly gift of guidance from my spirit guides on navigating the uncertain world that you are now living in. Published every Tuesday since 2014. In this episode, the guides will be talking about the soul's calling. Okay, Ray, so what do you have for me on this one?
Well, after I listened to the insight, I was wondering, how is it that some people know early in their life what their calling is, what they want to do with their life, and others seem to never even find it. They might look all their life.
That's a good question. In my case, I got that soul calling really early, like as soon as I arrived in my flagship book, Guided. My true story, it talks all about it. Chapter 1, the merry-go-round dream. So I was slammed with my calling. It was actually shocking for me what came through, and it came through for 35 years and wouldn't stop. I'll get into that a little bit later. But why do people flounder? Why do they never seem to find their calling? They never found themselves. They never knew who they were, the source, right here, the beginning point, where it all starts, got knocked off its course early from the very beginning of its life. It is the baby. It is the new person. It is the arrival of the soul in this container called the person. This world was so intense when this new person showed up that it retreated. This didn't favor this new person. This wanted to mold this new person. That's what this did. It had demands. It had expectations. It required that you only comply with what was going on in this world. Follow the rules. Do what you're told. Learn. Get it together. Snap out of it. Get out of la la land, okay, and get real with your life. Okay. That pretty much let you know, you, the real you, let you know that this did not include you. You had no choice but to retreat. You didn't go anywhere. You retreated. You're sitting in the sidelines waiting to come back in, but it never felt safe enough for you to really do that. It wasn't okay for you to be you in this world. You guys, you came from somewhere before you got here. And that's what contains your soul, who originally arrived in this world. Okay. So that's what got knocked off its path. And that's what happens to people when they get so alarmed by coming into this life, and they know that doesn't fit here. Okay, the way it's so strict and confined, and the rules are the rules. Okay, you knew the real you, the soul of you couldn't breathe in this rigid world, this three-dimensional world, this material world. So that's why, if you feel like, well, what's my calling? I have a soul. What's my calling? You still have a calling. You just don't trust it. It doesn't fit into this world. You were so molded and programmed to just be in this world that you forgot what was so natural for you to do and feel and be when you were a little kid, when this world wasn't encroaching on your space. You snuck it in. You remember. If you really sit down, you will remember what you left behind as your soul suffered from that, okay? And in this world, it just never fit. Now you're going, wait a minute. Something's missing. Something's really not aligning here. My soul's calling? You know you have a soul. Everybody knows they have a soul. But your calling? Do you remember your soul calling you? Or was this world so loud that you couldn't hear it? Okay, that's what happened if that's what happened. Okay, so I could just say straight out that you were frightened right out of being connected to your soul so you could hear it, so you could experience it, so you could play in it, so you could follow it. That's the highest way to live this life, you guys, is following your soul's calling, your soul urge to do what you came here to do, instead of hanging on like survival just in this world. Okay, that's what went wrong. All right. Okay, so when you have a soul calling, when you're coming from your soul, you achieve accomplishments that you could have never, ever imagined in this life. My flagship book, Guided My True Story, talks all about it. And you also feel an inner peace. Even though there's chaos going on all around you, you have that ability to be in your center, in the present moment, in a peaceful place, even with all that going on. Okay, that's the soul. That's when the soul is alive and activated. That's when you are connected. You're not missing it. You're not missing it. You're not pushing it away. Okay? And actually what your soul is doing, ultimately when you follow your soul's calling, it's transporting you to the fourth density reality, where we're going, out of this material world that's so stifling, okay? The 3D world. Your soul's calling is all about doing something important here, in this dense reality, okay, in spite of it. This calling comes from within you. It's like a secret. It's like something you know and you've known since you got here, but you don't tell anybody because you know better. You know better in this world. To trust them with this soul calling you have. You just know it. You know that you don't talk about it. Okay. You keep it here. But a soul calling, just because you keep it here doesn't mean you're not playing it out. You're just not announcing it. You're not broadcasting it. You're not showing off. So go back to the time when you were a kid and ask yourself what that soul calling was. It was something you were good at, something you wanted to try, something that you were mesmerized by, that you couldn't resist. That's your soul calling. Go back and visit that early time in your life to bring it back. It might seem childish, but if you break it down, it's not childish at all. Especially if you came into this world at the time that you came in, of course you're here, like we all are. You came in deliberately to express what your soul calling is. Look at the world we're in, you guys. What a mess. Okay? So you might look at the world we're in and go, oh, this is hopeless. I don't want to be here. No, that's not true at all. You came here to be here right now, to be part of this historical event that's going on in our world right now. You came here to play your part in it. That's your soul that called you in. Okay? So that's what you need to align with. And I'll tell you how you do it right here. These journals right here will flush out what that soul has been calling you to do. All right? Here's an interesting thing that the guide said. This calling from your soul is about changing yourself first. How do you like that one? I bet you didn't expect to hear that. Changing yourself first. So what you need is you need a soul repair. Really, you need to repair the soul. Your soul calling is still waiting for you to step up the game. Quit letting this life scare you so much. Okay, so you can calm down. You can calm down in this world and put it in perspective. So your soul's calling can come back and you can hear it. Okay? The promise you made to yourself. You made a promise to yourself before you came here that you would live that soul calling out in this lifetime. You wouldn't miss it. It's a promise you made to yourself, a soul vow. This is serious stuff, you guys, and I'll tell you why it's so important. The moment you transcend this reality and you are released from your body, this millisecond that you find yourself on the other side, you're going to know, did I perform on my soul's calling? Did I live out my soul vows? Did I? That'll be the first thing that comes to mind to you, because that's what brought you here in the first place. So it's going to be the first question you're going to have to yourself. You judge yourself and how you did in this lifetime. Did you perform on it? Did you? You don't want regrets when that comes up. And you don't want to wait that long to be presented with that question, because then you've missed it. And guess what? You have to come back and do it all over again. Just when you had the possibility and the potential to pull it off, especially under the pressure our world is in now at this time. Wow. Get over the anger. Get over the feeling of dread. Get over feeling like, well, that's not fair. Get over all that, okay? Do you see how childish all that is? Let it go. If you can't go out and do the things you used to do, let it go and get to work on you. It starts with you and changing you, fixing you, so you can begin to connect with your soul calling. It's the whole reason you came here. How much more emphasis could I make on how important that is? Okay. And the choice is always yours, because you guys, you have free will. You were gifted with free will. What a fabulous thing to have. But are you using it well? Think about it. All right. Okay, so if my work has changed your life in any way, tell your like-minded friends about what I do. And the spirit guides and I love your comments, so keep them coming. We're going to close this session today with a closing message from the guides about the soul calling.
A calling is a purpose for your soul. It's not a job, nor is it a career or some temporary assignment. A calling is a mission. You are on a mission when you are following your soul's calling. You never want this mission to end. It is energy in forward motion. You can't stop it. Once in motion, it gathers steam. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill, getting bigger and bigger. It only stops one way. You transcend it.
You feel that, you guys? That's what this is all about. That's why you're here. You have help. You are never alone and always being guided.